Is it possible to get rich from being a videographer who's just doing day rates, or do you need to be more layered? Let's go down to the sand, talk about what I'm doing and what my colleagues are doing. So there's such an obvious ceiling for being a videographer, being in the mid-tier and just charging day rates or charging hourly. I don't think I'm gonna get rich that way. I want to get rich, so I'm trying to figure out what are some other investment vehicles that I can take to capitalize on the income that I am getting, the revenue that I do have. And first and foremost, I think it's what can I do with my time while I'm working? Now that, for me, is stocks. And I'm trying to fill up my brokerage account as much as I can. I already have my Roth taken care of. And when I come back, like from today, I just finished work and now I want to open up my app. How much money did my money make for me? It was a couple $100 today. It might go down a couple $100 tomorrow. It doesn't matter. I'm trying to figure out how to double dip. And really, it's like someone said, every dollar you have, that's another soldier that you can put to work. I love that idea. Because if I'm fighting tooth and nail on the clock for every dollar, that is an uphill battle. So I'm talking to different friends saying, what are you doing? And how's that different from what I'm doing? So I have one friend who's kind of has a different approach, and he said, I am gonna do my like meat and potatoes investing, kind of like what I'm doing, but I'm not gonna focus on how much money I can push over there. Instead, I'm gonna focus on how can I increase my revenue significantly now. And sounds like a great structure as well. How do you do it? That's the thing. So I'll say in my case, I have been able to increase my revenue, not because I'm some genius. I kind of like fell backwards into this situation, but I had a one-off shoot. It went well. They called back a little bit later, and then again and again, and eventually we're on retainer. I'm here in Palm Beach, and this is what I do twice a month. It has significantly increased my income and is allowing me to say, you got your needs met. Now you have surplus. What are you gonna do with that surplus? So it's been like 10 years for me to get to this point of surplus, and mainly I've always had some surplus because I keep my expenses really low. And they still are low. I don't have a mortgage, I don't have a lot of the big, I don't even have health insurance. So instead of paying for health insurance, which is not advised, I'm putting that towards other things and trying to figure out, like I said, how can I get my money to make money? And nothing will make you ask that question more than being in Palm Beach. I don't know how anyone affords any house here. Every time we see, you know, these multi-million-dollar houses that are 1,200 square feet, or you see some of the big mansions that are 60 million, 90 million. There's one down there for $250 million. Okay, so obviously there's a lot of full spectrum there. You know, all those people making money. Still, they're making the money. How do I make the money? Because it is possible, and it's not by selling my hours on each day. The water is so crystal clear blue here. It reminds me of Bahamian water. In fact, I just saw an amazing video of this rich lawyer guy in Miami who found this little sliver of Bahamian coastline in Eleuthera, and he built what he called the thatch house. And it's a very, very humble, small house, has a, not private, but his own beach right in front that he can surf at. And he goes there on the weekends, and when he's not, he's Airbnb-ing it. And those are the moves that I want to try to make. Is I want to have fun. Is there a way to make money from having fun? So he's got his vacation home. He makes income when he's not there. And I have to think differently. And I'm open to hearing what you guys are doing, what more successful people are doing, what older people are doing, because I can see the opportunity there. I can see the reality of it. A lot of it is timing. I wasn't born in the right time to get an affordable house, or if I had enough money a couple of years ago, I could have slotted right in, but it didn't happen. So, and I got to figure out some other investment vehicles. So before I get the mansion, I have a pretty wide spectrum of audience here. Some people are new, some people have been doing it for 30 years. And for the people who have been doing it for a while, I think they would also say that first you need to figure out What is my hour worth? What is my day worth? What is my brain worth having on somebody else's set? All of those. And then you can start building off your structures from there. The part that I think is changing is a lot of people think the deeper I get into my career, the higher level the productions go. And for me, that has certainly not been the case. It's almost gone backwards. It's this retainer client that I have that I get 80% of my revenue from, but only takes up about 40% of my time. I'm using phones, DJI mics, like the scope has not elevated like crazy. It's just having this consistent bond with a client that has deeper pockets. And that's like very easy to say, but my skill has not changed over the last year or two that I've had them. I'm just able and very willing to over deliver for a client that I'm going to have an ongoing relationship for. Typically, it's not that I'm not going to over deliver. I'm just going to satisfy the requirements, do a good job, make sure I feel good, make sure they feel good. But the benefit with having an ongoing client is that you get that trust that gets to be built, and you get to build on every shoot day that happens. For us, it's twice a month. And I'm not getting higher and higher in production level. And that's not even what they want. They don't want higher production level. They don't want more crew. This is for the clientele that I'm speaking of. They don't want bigger, more complicated. They want streamlined. And so that's what I'm working. And if I can streamline more for them, then I can streamline more for my profits as well. So personally, no, I don't think I can get super rich by being a videographer at the tier that I'm at. Maybe as a specialized freelancer doing high-level DP work, yeah, maybe. And it would probably be more interesting projects. But for now, where I'm at, I kind of don't want to do that. I like the situation I have, so I'm trying to figure out how to maximize from it. And maybe it'll cap out. I had a conversation recently with a much higher level DP than I am, and he's like, I might get out of the video game entirely. Like, I'm looking for something that could potentially make me more money, and I can translate the skills over. It's not the camera proficiency skills, but it's more so business to business, knowing how budgets work or just how businesses work, and I can translate that to a completely different industry. I want to know, is that something that a lot of people are thinking in my audience? Like, is it for the people who have been here for, you know, let's say 20 years of experience, 30 years? Are you kind of rounding out and saying, this is the last stretch, I'm going to do this, and then I'm retiring? Or is it a pivot? Is it saying, I put in some time here, but I want to do something else entirely, and I know there's something out there, because you have colleagues, you have other people who are making moves, everybody's doing it at different speeds, different timing, but the money's there. It could be adjacent. It could be, I have my videography here, but I want to do, you know, like people have typically done courses in this space. Courses, digital products, retreats, workshops, webinars, whatever. It could be inline, but I don't think you're gonna be rich. It's gonna be a lucrative position to just be doing the videography day rates. I would love to hear the argument for it. I would love to hear the argument against it, really. That's actually what I'm more interested in. And what are you guys doing, and what are you seeing other people do? Because I'm up in one of those skyrise hotels. We have a beautiful view of the ocean. I woke up this morning to an amazing sunrise, and I'm just trying to figure out, I know this is possible, to have a second home here, you know, be able to bounce around with a fluid lifestyle. Just trying to pick, you know, which things I'm going to bounce off of and try, and probably make a couple errors in the process, but I know it's possible. So let me know what you guys are doing. Start the conversation. Who's making money?